All right, we're going to work on lesson 94 today. Before you start, I want to make sure that you've read page 594 through page 598. As we go through the video, if I get ahead of you, you can pause and you can rewind if you need to as well. It's important that you try to work through these problems with me on a piece of paper so you have examples to help you with the written practice. We're going to start today on page 598 with problem A. And these are multi-part or word problems. The lesson is called two-step word problems. So there are going to be two steps with our word problems today. So problem A on page 598 says, Kim paid for 4 pounds of peaches with a $5 bill. So she's got 4 pounds of peaches. And she paid $5. She got $3 back, so her change was $3. What was the cost of each pound of peaches? And it gives us a hint. It says, first, find the cost of 4 pounds of peaches. Well, to find that out, we can look at what she paid, which was $5, and we can subtract the change she got. Ooh, I spelled change wrong down here. We can subtract the change she got. So this is a subtraction problem. So she paid, 5 minus 3 is $2. So she paid, or the cost was, let's erase that, the cost was $2. So Kim paid for 4 pounds of peaches with a $5 bill. So she got 4 pounds, and it says that each pound of peaches, we need to know how much each pound costs, so each 1 pound. So we need to take that $2 and we need to break it into 4 groups. Well, when we break something into groups, we divide. So I can't really divide $2 by 4, but I can if I put it like this, like a decimal using the normal way that we write money. So we do that with all the kinds of money. This is the dollar amount, and this is the cents. So these are dollars, and these are cents. So there were no cents involved, but we can put that in our division problem, which will make it a little bit easier to figure out. So we can't divide 2 by 4, but we can divide 20 by 4. And I put that decimal up here to make sure it was lined up, but we can divide this 20 here by 4, which is going to be 5. 5 times 4 is 20. We subtract 20 from 20 and it was 0. We bring down our 0, and 4 goes into 0 times, so 0 times 4 is 0. When we subtract, and we end up with 0. So the cost was 0.50, or 50 cents. We could also write that as a dollar amount, so 0.50. So the cost of each pound of peaches was 50 cents per pound. And I could check that. So we've got 4 pounds. Well, if I take 50 cents times 4, we end up with 200 cents, which is the same as $2, which is up here. So we're going to circle our answer because our check showed us that we were right. So 50 cents per pound. That was a 2-step word problem. Okay, let's go ahead and go to B. It says the perimeter of this square is 12 inches. So we're saying that the distance around the square, if we add all these parts up, that equals 12 inches. What is the area of the square? Well, we know that the area is length times width. So if we took the length, which is this amount, times the width, which is this amount, we should get the area, which is how many little square inches are inside. So we don't know what those are, but it says first find the length of each side. Well, we know that squares have all sides equal. So if we took this square and we drew it again, we know that all 4 sides are equal. So if we have 12 inches and we break it into 4 different sides, we're going to be dividing, because when we break things into groups, we divide. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. We subtract, we got 0. So each side of this square is 3 inches. All right? And it says, what is the area? Well, the area is length times width. So we just need to take the length and the width, and we need to multiply it. We can just plug it in. 3 times 3. And that is 9. So the answer is 9. And we need to make sure we label it. It's 9 inches squared. Or we can write 9 square inches. Both of those answers are acceptable. This was 3 inches, or excuse me, that was each side. But up here it said that the perimeter was 12 inches. And notice it doesn't say square inches. We're just talking about the length around the square. Versus square inches, we're talking about how many squares are inside the square. How many of these little square inches are inside. So the answer for B is 9 square inches. Let's go ahead and go look at C. It says, Orlando is 10 years younger than Gian. So Orlando equals, and I'm going to just use their letters for their names. So O equals G minus 10 for Gian. So Orlando is 10 years younger than Gian. So we could just figure that out by saying O equals G minus 10. And Gian is 2 years older than Shaniqua. So G equals, let's see, 2 years older than so it's he is G plus, it's S plus 2, because Shaniqua is 2 years younger than Gian. So G equals S plus 2. If Orlando is 13 years old, how old is Shaniqua? Hint, first find out how old Gian is. So Orlando is 13 years old. So we know that O equals 13. So I can take this problem here and plug in the 13 for this O here. And we'll have an equation that we can solve. So 13 equals G minus, just one of those, minus 10. Well, to solve this, we know about our number families. We can say G minus 10 equals 13. We can also say that we can add 10 to each side. So let's go ahead and say G, let's add 10 here, and that gets rid of this. And we add 10 over here. As long as we do add 10 to both sides, we should be fine. So we're going to say this is 23. So Gian is 23. So now we know that G equals 23. Now it says Gian is 2 years older than Shaniqua. So G equals S plus 2. I can take this. Let's go to another color. Let's take this problem here. And we're going to move it down there. And we know that G is 23, so we're going to plug in 23 equals S plus 2. Because Shaniqua is 2 years younger than Gian. So let's go ahead and subtract 2 from this side and subtract 2 from this side. These cancel out, and that gives us 21 equals S. So S equals 21. So the question is, how old is Shaniqua? Well, Shaniqua is 21 years old, so we can write 21 years old. I like these multi-part word problems. They're like little puzzles. Okay, let's go ahead and go to D. Point N represents what number on this number line? Okay, well, we know that 400 is here and 500 is here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jumps. So what can we count by to get from 400 to 500 in 5 jumps? Well, I think it's going to be 20s. So let's see if that works. We do 420, 440, 460, 480, and then 500. So that one's pretty simple. Point n represents what number on this number line? Well, it's this spot right here. So we can write n equals 460. Moving on to E. It says if y equals 3x plus 2, what is y when x is 4? Let's write this equation here. We got y equals 3 times x. Well, we know x is 4 because it says right there, so we can write 3 times 4 plus 2. Now remember our PEMDAS. We want to solve this in the right order. We're going to do parentheses. Well, there's no equation in the parentheses, so we're done with that. There's no exponents. There is a multiplication problem. We got 3 times 4 right here. So we're going to do that, 12. So y, 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2. So we've done the multiplication. There's no division. There is an addition problem. It's this right here. So we got y equals 14. And there's no subtraction. So our answer is y equals 14. And we can plug that in and make sure that it all works, because we know that x is 4 and we know y is 14. So let's see if it works. Y is 14 equals 3 times 4 plus 2. Okay, 14 equals 3 times 4 is 12 plus 2. And 12 plus 2 equals 14. So we're good. Y is 14. I should not have circled that last one there. There we go. Y equals 14. Okay, last problem. It says, Mr. Simmons is 5 feet 10 inches tall. So we can write S equals 5 feet 10 inches. How many inches is 5 feet 10 inches? Oh, well, this is going to be interesting. We need to find out how many inches 5 feet is. We do not need to figure this part out because we already know 10 inches is already in inches format. So let's take 5 feet. How many inches are in a foot? Because we know 1 foot equals 12 inches. So 2 feet would be, well, it would be 2 times 12. And 3 feet would be 3 times 12. So we notice the pattern here that we just, for solving feet to inches, we're just going to multiply however many feet we have times 12. So to find out how many inches tall he is, we're going to do 5 times 12 plus 10. Okay, well 5 times 12 is 60 plus 10. Well, 60 plus 10 is 70. So Mr. Simmons is 70 inches tall. Okay, there's your 2-part word problems. This one here was not really a 2-part word problem, and this one wasn't either, but we got to do 4 of them. Okay, so 70 inches tall is our last problem. I hope that you have a wonderful afternoon.